I think the most important thing is that they are a family, and they all have all of their hopes and dreams are very evident from the beginning, and they're all equally as important. I think everyone, myself included, we all relate to Joe. Uh, as you know, she's the thing, but like there's also Meg who wants a family, and there's Beth who lives to like love everyone and be of service to her community and find ways to be of service to her family and her community and find her own way through that. And there's Amy, who we all love to hate because you know she's selfish and spoiled, but she also wants a good life for herself and her family and understands um a reality of women in that class at that time. So along with Joe, who wants to see the world and wants to be astonishing, as we have to continually say, if you are familiar with the musical, you understand, or I hope you will understand soon. um I think all of them in the book and in the musical and the films and all of the iterations, all of them capture that love that each of them has for the world around them, for their own dreams, and how they're going to try and pursue it in real time. I haven't seen my family in a little bit over a year. I moved to New York January of 2020, and I have yet to see my family. Since then, obviously, we've stayed in touch through like Zoom and FaceTime each other and trying to find a way to schedule conversation, which isn't, it doesn't always work. Even in the best of times when I was closer to my family because of work, because of this, because, you know, we couldn't always talk. And I think what you see in this, or what we were hoping to explore in this, is how a family tries to stay together when they can't physically be together anymore, or just it isn't the time. So it's like, how do we utilize FaceTime calls to talk to each other when we're in the middle of 15 different things? How can we try to not miss as many calls as we do when we're off on trips to Europe? You know, like how do we keep in touch with our families, found or otherwise, when everything in the world is kind of screaming at us that we can't? I think that's really important in this musical, especially I hope in our version of this musical. Oh God. That's it. That's it. It's just even from the very beginning when we knew we were gonna do this, I kept underestimating how difficult the idea of carrying the story into film when you're not only dealing with all of the things of turning a musical from literary source that involved, you know, like how do we see the March House? What is the March House? What is the March Attic? What is Joe's attic? What is, you know, New York versus Concord Beach and all of these different things. And you're also dealing with the fact that there are Little Women is incredibly beloved. In fact, I think something we came across is since Little Women was published, every generation since then has had some major adaptation of Little Women. It's like three films, a lot of miniseries, of course, the musical. Most recently, the Greta Gerwig movie 2019, which was released pretty much right before the pandemic started in America. Um, so not only are we dealing with how do we translate this musical, but how do we continue the grand tradition of Little Women, the musical? And like, what do we have to say about it? Ooh, I wish I could say it was easy, and I'm wondering what we were doing sometimes, but I feel like what we tried to do in this iteration is dive in headfirst into the medium of, yeah, none of them can touch. None of our students can touch each other. How do we tell a story like Little Women where everyone's having to have conversations in FaceTime or Zoom or Twitch or TikTok? So yeah, all of that to say, we explored the ways that we have all tried to stay together with each other and communicate and share things with the world during the pandemic, which led us to the March family having conversations in in a FaceTime chat room. Joe sharing her stories in Twitch. All of these different imaginative ways that we can reconfigure what it means to communicate with people. And I think that's really important in theater, which is one way that we communicate with people and we try to share something with people. And so it's just us continuing that and trying to share, like, this is our version of Little Women right now. This is where we all are right now, is we're just trying to say we love you through a phone or through a computer. How do we share that with each other? And just celebrating that we honestly made it, celebrating the fact that, family is still family after all of this, I think has been really important when I've been thinking about how to put this together. There are little things of, like, Joe's imagination popping through doodles on the outside frames, and just having a lot of fun with imagination and seeing how my team is so amazing, by the way, how can we blow this thing up, in this form, because we have nothing to lose, which has been great, has been challenging, has pushed, I feel, all of us in a great way, and pushed us to, like, just reimagine the story of Little Women in a way that I don't think it has been pushed before, which is really exciting to talk about, but I will say challenging to, like, actually do. So tonight's our last day of filming, and the process has been great. The students have been so amazing and just so willing to just dive into it and just say, this is my character in this situation. What does that mean? All of my designers have been so gung-ho about, like, how do we essentially make rough and ready theater on top of making a rough and ready film? How do we do that? I don't know. Let's just do it and see what happens. I will say everyone on the team, everyone in the cast has just been so great about just exploring and making absolute fools of themselves for a minute. And I could not be prouder.